Welcome to the Hard Lessons podcast. I'm your host, Charlie, founder of an Oakville-based construction company. Each week, we dive into the world of business, personal development, and the entrepreneurial journey. We'll be talking with successful business owners who've been in the trenches and learned those hard lessons. Whether you're just starting out or looking to take business to the next level, you're in the right place. Join us as we turn hard lessons into stepping stones for success.
On today's episode here, we have Sean joining us from Burl Oaks Indoor Golf Facility. And Sean has quite an impressive story and very interesting, and I can't wait to learn more myself as well. Now, it sounds like Sean has joined the PGA as an instructor, or first off as an apprentice after graduating from University of New Brunswick for business administration, and was eventually director of golf instruction at Glen Abbey Golf Club, now running your own indoor facility in Oakville here. You know, I really do appreciate your time hopping on, and again, can't wait to learn more. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, let's start off. Paint me the picture. Correct me, if I left a few things out. I'd love to hear from when you started to now, where you've been, what you've done, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think the first thing, you mentioned joining the PGA. I actually joined right out of high school. So, it was, literally grade 12, sitting there trying to figure out, like everybody, what are we doing with our life, and, kind of what your plan is and what you think you should do is not necessarily what you really want to do. So, I'm going to first tell you, I was sitting there, I think it was grade 11 at that time. Might have been grade 11 or 12, I forget, but it was, first semester, grade 12. And I had decided I'm going to go become a chartered accountant. That's what my dad did. And that's what I always was going to do. So our teacher said to the whole class, I want you to write down, everybody, what are you doing for your career? And what are you going to be? And what are you going to take in university? Where's everybody going in next fall? So I wrote down going to UMB Fredericton, taking business administration, going to be a chartered accountant. And then the next question she asked us was, what do you really want to do? So that was interesting. I didn't even hesitate. I was just like, be a golf professional and teach golf. And then the third question was, why are you not doing that? So it was sort of an instrumental moment in life to go home that night and tell my parents that I'm changing my mind. I don't want to be an accountant. And my dad owned a firm, and I was going to take it over. And it was like this really lifelong plan, many years. I'm going to take over that accounting firm. And so that was probably hard for Dad that night. But thankfully, I won't go too deep into the story. But long story short is I got his support, and here I am. So I joined the PGA and still loving the golf industry, and
So how did that work throughout school? Because you did end up going for business administration, correct?
I did, and that's what I was going to leave out, but now I'm going to tell it. So he didn't really give me the full support to do what I want to do. Dad, I think it was partial support. It was like, hey, how about this? Go do your business administration. I'm going to help cover your expenses to do that. You still may be an accountant, but you're going to get that business administration, which will allow you to decide later if you want to go to, PGA or chartered accountant. The PGA of Canada at that time did require you to get a minimum 3-year business diploma. I didn't have to do a degree, but I had to do at least 3-year diploma out of college. So you had to get a 3-year diploma, or you could do the 4. So it kind of worked. Dad was like, look, just go do the 4-year, get your BA. And then if you decide, look, I really want to do the golf, then we'll, and that's what I did. But yeah.
So 18 years old, that's a lot on your plate. You went right into the PGA, and then also managing the school stuff. Like how was that, managing your time, and then in the back of your head knowing, what you really want to do, having, what was it kind of lingering? You felt like it was just a pain holding you back. Like looking back, how do you feel that unfolded, I guess, and like the lessons that you were able to get out of that?
Yeah, fortunately, when you're working as an assistant golf professional in the Golf Association, I mean, most of the hours that you need to work are in the summer months. So I was able to find jobs and work and support head professionals, being an assistant pro for just the summer months. Come home in April from university and go back basically first week of September. So through those 4 years of college, university, I was 8 months in school and basically 4 months at the golf course every day. So there really wasn't any overlap, conflict. I was able to get my schoolwork done for the 8 months, get my grades, go back to the golf course, work my butt off, many hours at the golf course for 4 months, and do that until I graduated in April of 2000. And then that's when I decided to move to Ontario. So that was a big move, big, again, life-changing moment of, okay, I'm going to leave New Brunswick and go to Ontario and, further my golf career.
And so once you came here, what did that look like? You have all this free time on your hands, or more time than you're used to the last 3-4 years. Like how did the trajectory? I'm sure you're able to really put a lot more into your career, being able to do it 12 months a year, right?
Yeah, I mean, moving to Ontario, I had call it a dream of being at Glen Abbey. Growing up in New Brunswick, Glen Abbey would be the big course. I mean, I know to Ontarians, it's like a lot of people have differing feelings on it. There's some people that I just loved it, and I loved that the Canadian Open was there, and then it always had an expensive green fee. So the problem with Glen Abbey is it always had the most expensive green fee in Ontario when I moved here, and for that reason, some people were like, "Oh, it's too much. It's not worth $250," and take the money out of it. Take what you pay to go play Glen Abbey and the prestige of the fact that you're getting to play the course that the pros play and all that. It's a really fun golf course, and it's a really cool property with the valley holes, and I just loved it. And for me, it was the absolute best place to be. It was one of the only golf academies in Canada that had a real golf academy with all programs for all people of all ages and a number of instructors. So it had a real cool teaching environment and academy, and the fact that I could hang out and go to work at the same course that my hero, Greg Norman, won 2 Canadian Opens was kind of where it all stemmed from. I mean, watching Greg Norman as a little kid win the Canadian Open there twice, once in the 80s, once in the 90s. And for me, that was just, like I say, it was a dream. If you're a hockey player and your dream was to be the captain of the Maple Leafs, literally I had achieved that in golf. Being a teaching pro at Glen Abbey and then being the director of instruction at Glen Abbey, for me in the golf industry, I felt like I just became the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's what it felt like.
So once you get there, like I hear guys achieve these massive things and they get there, they're like, oh, I've been working towards this goal for however long. You finally get there. How is that going through your head? Like you're at the top of your game. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. There's no moving, staying still in life. How were you able to handle that with, like, I guess not getting satisfied with where you're at? You're like, okay, sick, I got this goal. Now what? Like, what was your thought process then?
To be honest, I failed that one. You need people to pick you up when you fail and support you, but I thought I was the be all end all. I came here, I learned for a year or two. I was like, felt like I'd learned so much. And a lot of that due to Sean Foley. So I'm working alongside Sean Foley. If you don't know Sean, he goes on to be Tiger's coach. He's one of the best coaches in the world. So anyway, Sean, here I am hanging out with Sean every day. We teach next to each other. After work, we have beers with each other. Like we're literally hanging out all the time. And I'm learning from him. And I get this idea that I now know a lot. And I know a heck of a lot more than I did. But he helped me realize that I didn't know a lot when I thought I knew a lot. I said, Sean, I think I'm going to move back to New Brunswick. Ontario's got lots of instructors. New Brunswick is starving for this level of instruction. There's no instructors out east providing the type of instruction that we're providing here in Ontario. I said, I think I should maybe go home and bring this knowledge back to the East Coast and do something to grow golf out there. And it seemed like a worthy, right thing to do idea. And Sean just really hammered on me and made me realize how much I have to learn and that I really am not as good yet as I think I am. And he convinced me to stay, but also really dig in and learn a lot more and read more and ask more questions and don't just kind of settle with what I'd learned so far. There's a lot more hill to climb here. That was very, again, life-changing moment. Sean having that chat with him, probably over beers at a place called Filthy McNasty's one night after work. But, that was a big, big moment too. Okay, I'm staying and I got to dig in here and learn a lot more. And then that really, again, changed the trajectory of my teaching and what I could do to help people, because I did learn a lot more and I was able to help a lot more people.
Was that something mentally like you're able to keep carrying of like, okay, let's keep raising the bar? Like you look at someone like Tiger, they probably have the same thought process too, right? And struggle with the same things of like, okay, I'm at the top, now what? Like I feel it's quite a mental game of like, okay, we're good, but there's still more to dig through and find out and read and study. If you look at the world class people, like how is that, I guess, what changed your mindset after those conversations with them?
Yeah, fortunately, golf is this game sport that there's like seemingly this never-ending opportunity to learn and get better. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to golf, and obviously swing technique alone. Just take swing technique, and it's like that's a big animal. Like there's a lot to learn and a lot to do if you want to have a great golf swing. Short game, shot making. Forget just a swing hitting the same shot over and over. You want to be a shot maker. You want to work the ball. The mental side, huge animal to tackle. If you're like trying to be world-class mental, focus, commitment to your shots, acceptance on the bad ones, not getting mad when you're playing bad, being able to turn bad golf back into good golf. And then there's the whole physical aspect now, like treating yourself like an athlete, not a golfer, like working out hard, not just working out, doing some stretches on the ground at night, like actually working out like you're a football player. The university golf teams now get trained by the football trainer. It's like it's not much different. They're trying to put on muscle.
Right.
They're trying to get strong. They're trying to get fast. And then obviously that leads into sleep, hydration, nutrition, everything else, the physical side. But you see where I'm going. I mean, there's just a lot to the pie as far as like if I want to get the most out of myself, you really got a lot to consider. And as a coach, trying to know a lot about all those things is really a never-ending challenge, because you might know everything there is to know now, so to speak. Probably don't, but you could dig into it and go, okay, I'm pretty good as far as like knowing what's going on here. So you leave that area. You go, I'm going to focus on the mental side this year. I'm going to focus on the short game this year. I'm going to focus more on the physical side this year. But by the time you come back to swing and you're like, I haven't really focused on the swing in a couple of years, things have changed. There's new evolutions, new learnings, new technologies. So you just kind of keep going. My former boss used to say it's like peeling an onion. It's like you just one layer at a time. There's another layer under it. Keep peeling an onion. You just keep going. There's more. So, the cool thing about golf is it's never ending. There's always going to be more to learn.
I think golf's a perfect example of like an extreme or with any sport or athlete, but I think we can take this into like just any day to day, whether it's like business or a specific industry of like the mental, the physical and your actual health of how you perform and how you can optimize your output. Like how have you been able to take what you've learned as a coach on that aspect? Maybe not your swing technique, but the mental and the health side of it into running your business. And the operation you guys run currently is quite impressive.
It's definitely helped. I mean, developing that sort of insatiable, that you can always get better attitude really for me stemmed from golf. And I try to apply it to the business. So I try to apply it with the staff. We can always get better. And we're always looking for ways to get better, even if we're a 4.9 out of 5, and we're like, there's 0.1 there. Let's chip away at it. How can we get more 5-star reviews without asking? It's one thing to walk up to someone and go, "Will you give us a 5-star?" It feels great to get a 5-star when you don't even ask for it. You did great service. They had a great experience. They took it on their own initiative. They wanted to give you 5 stars. I'm not here to bash or complain about competition, but you would know on Google, you can tell when you log on to Google and someone's either paying people or they're working real hard to get people to give them 5 stars. because maybe they opened for business 2 months ago and they already got 600 reviews or something, just like an insane amount of reviews in a short period of time. And you're just like, there's no way those are all legit. Well, I'm proud of that. We don't have a crazy amount. We might have 50 to 80 reviews in our 5 years, but they're real and they're legit, and they're people that had great experiences. And it just feels good nothing feels better than having your clients have a great experience. That's our number one priority. And nothing feels worse than them having a bad experience. And you lose sleep over those, and you try to learn from them. And they've happened. We've had some, we've fallen down a little bit. Fortunately, more in the early years. We had lots to learn early, and we had some clients unhappy, and we fixed those problems. And I'm sure there'll be more, but we haven't had a 2-star review since probably our first year. I think we had two. We had two 2-star reviews, and that's why we're not a 5-star right now on Google. We're 4.9 because we had 2 people that were unhappy about 3-4 years ago. But the goal is not to get mad at them. It's like, what's the feedback here? What's the learning? How do we make sure no one else has that 2-star experience? And if you have that attitude, you keep getting better. It makes it fun. It's never just repeat 2023. Hey, that was a great year. Let's do it again. No, let's grow. How can we do more? What else can we offer? We got a great database here of people that love golf. Is there anything we're not doing we can do to serve them? Anything that they're going elsewhere for because we don't offer it? What can we do to service these people? And it's
example of that is an example of that is the bar, correct? Like that was something that came in your guys' facility. You're like, hey, people, this is a need of our clients. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a need of our clients. Let's figure out this alcohol license thing. Let's do a research and incorporate it. Is that how that went? Or
it is, and that was a challenging one for me because I come from this running Glen Abbey, golf academy and performance. My background is performance and health, and it was sort of hard to professionally open up a licensed area. I had no problem telling people, hey, I drink a beer on the weekend, and I don't feel ashamed to do that. But it was weird to kind of cross it over with business when everything else in the building was, we did no alcohol, no fast foods, everything was designed towards health and performance. And then all of a sudden you open up a licensed lounge that serves pizza, wings, and beer. That was hard for me. But I also recognize that a lot of our people here like those things. They like to perform. They like to work hard on their game, but they also like to have pizza and a beer and their wife come join them, have a glass of wine, and have a different golf experience. Not all of their golf experience is all geared toward performance. Some of it is relax, have fun, have a drink. So, and also realizing that we have 2 different types of people that come to us. They're not all the same. Some people like it, some people don't. You don't have to go into our lounge, but if you want to, it's there. So it's, I'm glad we added it. To be honest, we kind of got tired of saying no to people. We had a lot of people calling us saying, your place looks great online. I looked at it but I don't see anywhere about, can I have a beer? He's like, no, we don't sell beer. We don't have food. You can order something in if you want and deliver food or but we don't serve food either. So we kind of, to some degree, realize we're sending a lot of people to other indoor places because they can't do what they want to do here. So it was like, all right, stop kind of battling and accept that it's time to add that service in.
Good. Now you mentioned like the 2-star reviews, and previous to that or prior to that, you mentioned like working on the mental game of golfers, and like that's a huge thing, especially in golf. Like it's I'm sure it's huge, can affect their whole round, can affect their day, their week, their month. Like downward spirals are just as big of a thing as upward spirals, right? Like how are you able to take whether it's a bad day or bad week with business, and not only like for yourself, but your team, your environment at your facility? How are you able to take those negatives and turn them around and say like, okay, guys, this happened, whatever, we learned from it. Like, what are your comments to add on that for, I guess, business owners just starting out?
The biggest thing is just action. Like sometimes things happen in life and they're not good, and you can kind of just not want to go there. I mean, imagine something happens even at home, and how many times are there problems at home and you don't talk about them? You just sort of hope they don't happen again, or you can stay quiet, and you sort of, there's an underlying stress there because you haven't really dealt with the issue. So, really the key is just taking action. And sometimes those are hard conversations. But if you really care about better and you care about those things not happening again, or when they happen again, they happen differently. They get handled differently. You have to have action. You have to have communication. So I just try to be more communicative than I did maybe when I was younger. I probably slept on a lot of problems as a kid. I didn't communicate issues. I didn't deal with things maybe like that always. But now I'm just like, the sooner you get it off and talk about it, the better. So when there's situations with clients here and they're not happy, like, I just want to have conversation with staff immediately. What happened? Tell me more. Like, where did it really start to go off the rails with the client? Like, what was the first thing that happened? It was like they became a little bit unhappy. I think it's important I want you to imagine you're at a restaurant and something's not good, taking too long with the food. What happens is, if you don't deal with the first problem, you're going to have more. If the food takes long and you don't do something for them, the chances of them complaining about the food are going to go up. If the food takes long and you come out and before they even get their food, look, guys, we're taking care of that app, the chances of them complaining about the app and the quality of it go way down. Like, you got to give people something, and you got to do it quick. You don't call them on the phone later and go, sorry about your bad experience. Will you remove your 2-star review? I'd like to do something for you. No. As soon as you start feeling like this one's not going well, it's free. Like, if I have a simulator client and the simulator's acting up, just Wi-Fi, who knows? We got some problems with the tech. It's glitching a little bit, slow. There's a delay on the shot hitting the screen, whatever. It's free. Guys, it's on us. And you know what? Depending how bad the situation is, it's on us. And here's another one to come back again, free. Because what's going to happen? They're not going to come back. They need to know that you really care about their experience and that this is not the normal for us, and make them realize, say, guys, this is very odd. This doesn't usually happen. We're sorry it's happened to you today. We pride ourselves on a good experience. This has not been good for you. And here you go. Here's another free hour to come back and have a better experience. So you really gotta really deal with the negative ones quick and throw some positivity at it fast. You can't just, when the staff come back to the desk and go, that guy's not real happy, and it's like, no, it's like you should be coming back telling me you've already comped him and he's happy now. Like, you don't walk away from him being unhappy. So you got to deal with things quick.
So the urgency of how proactive you are before they complain or before you hear it from them, right? Like,
it'll snowball.
I was reading
if you don't, it's going to snowball. They're already a little unhappy, and when you're a little unhappy, every little thing starts agitating you, right? So, yeah.
Well, and it'll snowball either way, depending how you handle it, right? Like, it'll snowball. These guys are great. I'm coming back for my free whatever, or I'm never coming back, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, because I feel it's so much more than just like the sorry or the quick phone call that small business owners like think. That's like, oh, I apologize. Why are they still mad? So I think it's going that, but going like way over them of like, okay, we apologize, we messed up. Now we're going to completely, help you out and make up for it because our standards are so high. I love that comment there. Now, Sean, from going as like a coach to a business owner running your own facilities, how did your mindset change in that aspect? Like, I'm sure there's a whole another set of learnings, hard lessons, and eating shit. How did that, I guess, process go for you?
Every step along the way for me, I mean, I feel like there was always someone or something that like helped. I told you about Sean Foley, my teacher growing up, saying, what do you really want to do? Sean saying, you don't know anything, you got to dig deeper. I'm going to tell you right now, I had this real opportunity to start Burloak Indoor Golf during COVID. It was sitting there. Glen, Abbey, and Club Link decided not to operate indoors, which at the time was very disappointing, but at the same time very understandable. I mean, remember that the first winter of COVID, I mean, I can completely understand a company saying we don't want coaching going on indoors, people breathing on each other. They operated that summer outdoors. But when Club Link said, you guys can't teach golf indoors, disappointing, but also very understandable. I was like, I get it. If I owned a big business, I don't know that I'd want, people trying to give golf lessons indoors. It was a scary thing back then. So, but then it was like, can we make it work? Is there a way to teach golf indoors? Can we keep our jobs this winter? Me and the other 13 instructors. Like, can we give golf lessons to our people this winter? Somehow, somewhere, some way. And a lot of hurdles to jump there. Figuring out how to open a business during COVID, when businesses were closing everywhere and you're trying to open one. But I'm going to be honest and tell you, I got close and then I chickened out. I was like, this is too much. This is just great opportunity, but too scary, too many hurdles to jump for me right now. So I found an indoor place that I could teach. I was like, for the first time in my life, I'm going to go teach at someone else's facility. I'm going to pay them. I'm going to pay them a fee. I'm going to use their simulator bay and get through the winter somehow. And I told all the other instructors that were looking to me to open a place. I'd been working with them at Glen Abbey for years. They're like, Sean, please create a place for us. And I had to go back to them and say, sorry, guys, I give up. I'm trying here. There's just too many hurdles to jump, and I'm giving up. I'm done with trying to open this indoor place, and good luck to you. I'm going here to teach. You go find yourself in another spot. It's been fun. It's been a great 20 years, but we're breaking up. Our academy, our team we're done. Probably one in particular, but maybe two of them didn't accept it. A lot of them were like, okay. And one or two of them, one in particular, was just like, no, not accepting it. You got to dig deeper, Sean. You're the one that can do this for us. You're the one that can keep the band together. You're the one to keep our whole community together here. We've got something special. We've got so many clients and students and teachers. We don't want to break up. We don't want to lose what we have. You need to create a new facility. So I guess at that moment, I needed that. I needed another kick in the butt. I needed someone to have me realize that I'm not done trying. And I got to put this over the finish line. So anyway, just another big moment, another big night, if you will, that night of just realizing. And it's amazing when you go to that situation, when you're like, you fail, you give up, and then you change your mind opens up. It's like, why didn't I think of that last week when I was trying to get this over the finish line? It's like I needed to fail and then try again to expand my mind. And then all of a sudden new ideas emerged. One of them being
teaches you, right?
Yeah. It's amazing how your mind changes. You're like, I was trying to get this to happen a week ago, but my mind wasn't thinking the things I'm thinking now. So it opened up and I was just like, wow, I know the vice president of RioCan. I mean, you meet so many people in Ontario through teaching and up here. It's just an amazing place that way. There's just so many people here that do so many things, and you meet them and you kind of forget what they do, the company they work for. And I'm like, I know the vice president of RioCan. They own malls. They own all kinds of real estate. And I called them, and they had some stores closing down in this mall due to COVID and other reasons. And next thing you know, I got a home. I got a home for this indoor golf place. It's in the Burloak RioCan Center, and we're taking over a ladies' clothing store and 5,000 square feet. And I'm sitting in it as I talk to you right now. I'm sitting in a handicap changing room right now. I'm in a changing room for a women's clothing store that has a handicap symbol on there. I'm in the big one. I took the big one. I mean, they're all small. These are little changing rooms for a clothing store, but that's my office. And the next year we took over the next door, clothing store. West 49 was that's next door, 5,000 more square feet. And then the following year, the lounge, we took over 3,000 on the other side, another ladies' clothing store. So we got 3 former clothing stores. We're in a mall, and it's been perfect. It's been an absolute perfect home for us to do what we need to do. It's sad that it's coming to an end. Costco is coming into our parking lot, taking over, they're crashing down a bunch of the buildings in the mall here, and the rent's going to triple, and we're not going to be able to afford it. So we're out. We're leaving. But we almost have over the finish line. We're so close, and I'm excited and scared. I hope it happens, but I think I got a new home across the street. So it's on Wycroft. Right now we're 3527. I think our address is going to be 3540. So it's literally barely a change, but it's across the street, and it's a new building. It's not finished being built yet, and we're hoping to move in there next year.
Wow, that's super cool to hear, Sean, of like out of necessity of what like the pressure it created of you, like the roller coaster of what you went on, almost saying no. And then like another thing I want to highlight for the listener, like the importance of surrounding yourself with the level of people that you need to be around to compete and perform at the level. Like this is top of the line of what you're doing, the business, the golf, the facility. And without having the people around you to give you that kick in the ass and keep you going, is so important and definitely overlooked. Like people are always like, yeah, I'm just going to put my head down. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do this. But if you don't have these supportive people or like-minded people that you're surrounded with, it's so easy to just get in your head and have those bad days of, like, okay, I'm throwing in the towel, right? So, yeah, that's again super super cool to hear. Um, Now after that, Sean, like what's the why that keeps you going? You know, day in and day out, the game of business is not easy. It's a gladiator sport. There's always stuff coming up, whether it's
Yeah,
employees or clients. What keeps you going?
I think more than anything, it's just service. I mean, it's just I'm in the service industry, providing service now, lots of different services, but servicing golfers, service in the golf community in the Oakville, Burlington, Milton area. Sometimes Mississauga, Toronto, Hamilton, if they want to come that far. But, you know, it's just servicing the golfers and trying to give them a great experience. Indoor golf and outdoor. I mean, I'm at Rattlesnake all day today. I mean, I still spend my days in the summer and spring at Rattlesnake Point, still involved with Club Link, which is great. I have great 24 years with them so far. So, um, it's just the winter and the indoor in Canada is just, it's become a big part of golf in Canada. It's a big part of the experience now. It's not just some small thing. Like if you look up the stats on indoor golf, I think for the first time ever, at least calculated data, there was more indoor golf played last year than outdoor. And I believe I don't know if that's in the world or North America. You'd have to look it up, but there's more rounds indoors being played than outdoor now. So there's many reasons for that I'm not going to go into all of them, but you got to picture and think about real estate here for a minute. How many golf courses around here have closed? Richview, Sawwood, Joshua Creek. I forget. There's more. There's a lot of them have closed. They're in houses now. Yeah. So when golf courses close because the value of the land is so much and people that own it can make more if they sell it, turn it into homes, ultimately you're left with less golf and the price of that golf goes up. So golf, unfortunately, as much as it's accessible and it's a game for everybody, it's not necessarily an easy game for everybody to find a course to play near home at a reasonable price. You might have to drive quite a distance to find the price that works for you. So it's not easy to get to reasonably priced golf sometimes. The time. I mean, golf takes a long time. If I'm going to drive to Guelph to play Springfield because I feel like I can get the rate that I want, drive up Highway 6, I'm looking at a 7-hour day to get there, play the golf, and then drive home. It's like literally more than half your day's gone, half of your waking hours. So golf takes a long time. And I think a lot of people are realizing, you know what? To come in and play 18 holes in the sim with a buddy, and I don't know if the weight is much, only 2 of us instead of 4, and rent a sim and play 18 holes takes 2 hours. And it's just and sometimes, and it's closer to home. You're going to find indoor golf probably closer to you than the nearest golf course. So to be able to total like 2.5 hours, I'm back in the door at home, and I hung out with my buddy and socialized and caught up and felt like I played golf. I hit all the clubs and, had some competition, a little bit of competitive environment. It's and not as expensive. So you're saving money, saving time, socializing, getting exercise. It's growing and it's not going anywhere. People are seeing the benefits of indoor golf, and the accuracy, obviously, of it is better. And is it perfect? No, but is it really good? Yes. So the quality of the information and the quality of the shot data is so much better, which is another thing that why it's grown. It's better players. We have members of Team Canada come in here. I mean, you're not going to get professionals. We got PGA Tour players that come practice here when they're home and in town. Obviously, the data is good, or you're not going to have golf professionals and Team Canada members in here using the facility. So the data is good. It's very realistic. It's very close to what your ball would do outside, and that makes it fun.
Right. Yeah. So throughout COVID, like that's starting any business is impressive, but doing it throughout those times, that's super cool to hear and again impressive. Um, but we can get, and I struggle with it as well, of getting caught up and like moving so quick of like, okay, what's the next thing? Let's keep going, let's keep going. And then almost making like blind decisions, or just like you're so caught up into it, opposed to slowing down and taking almost like a think time. Like how have you handled this with such a quick growing business? Um, Also in a hard time, there's the need for it. Things I do imagine probably moved quite quick, still do. Um, how as a new business owner were you able to, I guess, navigate through that?
I mean, honestly, not well. I haven't been golfing. I haven't been working out. I haven't been hanging out with my friends as much. It's hard. And there's a lot of sacrifice. I also have a 3 and 5-year-old. So through this whole thing we're talking about, I've had 2 kids born. So when I'm not working here, it's home. And it is work. I mean, you got work. You can't just go home and put your feet up. My wife's working from home. She's busy working and supporting the kids. So when I come home, I better be ready to do some work at home. Because she's certainly been working pretty hard at home while I'm away from the house. So, it's been really 4 or 5 years of work. It's a lot of work. And it's a labor of love, and it's fun, and it's exciting, and it's challenging. But it is work, and it is a lot of work. And it's tiring, and there's a lot of sacrifice. I can tell you, like, when I do vacation, which isn't a lot, it's I look forward to it. I'm going camping next week. I will be camping with my family, and it's something I've been looking forward to all summer. So, you certainly appreciate those times. I don't have as many of them as I used to. So it's not going to sit here and tell you I live this very balanced life and I got everything figured out. No. I had way more balance prior to all this. Yeah. So I'm hopeful to get it back. Hopeful to buy another boat. I had a boat prior to COVID, prior to opening this business, I should say. I really enjoyed. It was a used boat, nothing expensive or anything. Cost of a used car. It was $25,000, about a $25,000 boat. But I loved it. And I spent a lot of time on it. That was my vacation time. If I took a day off, it was on the boat. So it was a nice getaway. Getting out on a boat is almost like golf. It's like you have to focus. You can't be thinking about all the other stuff in life. You got to watch out for other boats, which way the wind coming from, how big are the waves, which way am I going to go? You had a lot to think about for safety of the people on the boat too. So I found when I was out on the boat, my mind was completely on boating. Like I did not stress anything in life when I was on that boat. And I enjoyed that kind of mental getaway. But as much as I do golfing. But I'm going to get another boat someday. And that's one of my goals is to get another boat. And hopefully it'll even bigger and better than the last one. But that's a little bit of a finish line outcome goal I do have, is to have better balance in life someday and take more time off and spend more of it on that boat.
I think it's overlooked of like just the amount of boring work that is actually required to make these impressive businesses run. And for the first few years, and I'm speaking like from myself as well, it's exciting, it's a new thing, let's go. And and then it's like it turns to work, right? And I think it's overlooked, and some people have an issue like, oh, it's work. I don't enjoy it now. Maybe we should change something. It's like, no, it's just part of the game. Like it's not an easy sport we're playing. The sport of business is it's intense. It's not for everyone. And what you just explained, I'm sure a lot of business owners can relate. Now, speaking of the boat and like getting your mind off things, where would you draw the line, Sean, of like um, increasing like your output in your day-to-day business and using these like mini vacations or days off to like almost reset, and then you come back the next day, you're like, okay, I'm fired up again, let's go. Like how have you used that throughout? And I know there's not a lot of it growing your business, but when you're, month 9, month 10, and your head's just been down, you start to get a bit sluggish and a bit, you're not performing as well as you can. I don't know if you can relate to that or not. But I struggle with it, and I was, wondering if you have any comments on that or what you used when you're still going through it, but getting this thing off the ground.
You mean like getting almost motivated to want to dig and really do what's right for the business versus just getting caught up in a cycle of just it's just kind of doing its thing.
Yeah, and that as well as like getting kind of groggy and sluggish and like where's I guess the balance, in lack of better words, of like, okay, go go go, but now we're go 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 on month 9 and I'm not getting any work done. I'm not producing as much as I used to be because I'm like in the cycle, and maybe using a vacation or an off day to recharge and then go back, like, it can be used in different ways, but where do you draw that line, the
Yeah.
balance, I guess? At the same time, if you're taking every other day as a boat day, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Like I say, there's not a lot of balance and I don't have a lot of off time. So what I do have is a big to-do list. I have a lot of things I want to accomplish. I can't show you the one in the phone because it's being used for the call right now, but this book is never far from me. There's 4 things that got added today. They're not checked off yet. Go back a page. That page has 1, 2, 3 checked. I got a lot to do when I get off the call here, but I got another meeting, so I don't know when I'm going to get to these things. That page, not checked. Look at all these things. I mean, go back a couple pages. I got a lot of unchecked here. So there's so many unchecked, but they're always there. See, you can't just have it in your mind. Like, I have to park it. It's like, I know I want to accomplish that. It's when I have a free moment. It's maybe when the kids go to sleep. Open the book up. Prioritize. What needs to get done? I have all these things. Remind, oh yeah, I got to get that done. I want to get that done. So having a to-do list outside of your head of things you want to accomplish is so important, because when you do have the time to put toward it, you can go to it and you can organize it a little bit. I'll show you quickly how this is organized. It's supposed to be done like this. I don't always get to it. Here's the list. This is just all the stuff. This is the day. That particular day, most important task, next most important task, so most important, secondary, additional ones. These are all things I'm going to try to accomplish on that day out of this list. Some of them won't get done. Pick the ones you want to try to accomplish in order of importance. And then there's a schedule right here. Here's the hours of the day. You can get all your most important ones in, and then you can kind of connect them to your schedule of what time of day you're going to tackle it. But it's just simple, but it's just a way to have your list with some priority plus scheduling to help you get as much done the next day and make sure you're tackling the ones that you think are the most important first.
And also getting it out of your head, I'm sure, is huge too.
Got to
Like,
be out of
okay,
your
this is
head.
my master list. Eh?
Got to be out of your head. Every time something important happens, every time someone comes up to you and goes, "Hey, can you look up this for me? I want a quote on this," or like somebody asks you something and you have an opportunity to service them, they'll say, yeah. No, get it in the book. Phone's going to ring in 2 seconds. Somebody's going to need some service. You forget. Now you're thinking about that. You totally forget. Maybe you remember a week later. Too late. They went and bought it elsewhere. They were expecting to hear back from you a day later. By the time you remember, it might be too late. You gotta get stuff down quick. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. I've definitely learned that the hard way. Of like, oh, of course I'll remember. And you're right. The phone rings or another fire starts and away you go. So, um, what's next, Sean? What's the plan on obviously you guys are moving. That's probably scary and exciting. What's next for the business?
Yeah, it's there's a lot to figure out there. I signed an agreement. We've agreed to the terms next door. So everything's been agreed to as far as what the lease term and price and all that stuff would look like. Now we're in a trial or whatever you call it, a period where it still may or may not happen. Sharing my financials with them and so on. I think we're in a period where we could either both back out or not. So I think, in about 10 more days, we're either going to have a done deal or not. So that's a bit scary. Again, exciting. But I'm meeting with a contractor. What time is it, if you don't mind me asking?
It's 3:47.
Yeah. So I got to get to that meeting at 4:00. So I'm meeting a contractor at 4:00 to look at the new building and discuss potentially having them be the contractor to build it out, build the walls, the lighting, the plumbing, the electrical, and help me build what I want my vision down there. So that's very exciting. I've got to get a thing into the town of Oakville to get the certificate of occupancy, make sure I can operate my business in that location. I talked to them on the phone the other day. Shouldn't be a problem, but I still need to go through that process. So, some little boxes that need to be checked here, some big ones, some little ones, but there's lots to do. And it's very, very exciting time.
Awesome, Sean. Listen, the last thing before we wrap this up, what is a standard that you hold those around you to in, the business, but also personally?
Just learning and betterment. It's just, I'll give you just a small example, but client walks around the corner the other day. The coffee machine's around the corner. You can't see it from the front desk. Says, is there any milk for the coffee? The coffee's out, the coffee machine's out. They don't see the milk, but there is a little fridge down underneath. Staffer says to the client, yeah, it's in the fridge underneath. It's a different level of service to walk with them, open the fridge and hand them the milk. I was a little disappointed at that moment that the staff just sort of yelled over to the client, it's in the fridge underneath. Another client wanted to try on some clothes last week. Staff said, yep, changing room's in the back, first one on the left. That's a different level of service than grabbing the clothes they want to try on, you carrying them to the back, hanging them for them on the hook inside of the changing room that you want them to get changed in. Walk them to it. Leave no room for any possible problem here of them going into the wrong room. Bring them to the room. It's like when you're in Home Depot and you say, hey, do you know where the is? And they say, yeah, aisle 6 on the left. There's a lot of stuff on aisle 6 on the left. Like there's a crazy amount of aisles. Like there's so many things in that store. You're still looking around aisle 6 on the left trying to find this thing. You even are in the right aisle on the correct side. You still can't find it. It's a whole nother level of service when they walk you to the product. They're saving you time. They're saving you stress. It's just do better. If you can do better, do better. What's 5-star look like? What's a perfect look like? Do that. If you can do that, do that. So it's just trying to get better and just keep learning. Keep learning and don't give up. Just keep striving for more.
I love it. I love it. Raising the bar. I feel that's something that's missing these days, especially of people getting too comfortable or complacent, lazy. So I love that as the example you use, Sean. But listen, I do appreciate your time here. Again, it was a great chat. where can people find you if they're interested in checking out the awesome facility you guys have?
Yeah, so burloakindoorgolf.com is our website. So everything's on there, all of our services and things they can do here at the facility as an instructor. SeanCaseyGolf.com. So yeah, if you're looking for support, performance, instruction, find me at SeanCaseyGolf.com, or if you want to come enjoy our indoor facility, it's at burloakindoorgolf.com.
Awesome. Thanks again.